Life sometimes changes without offering any explanation. And in the midst of that change, we suddenly realize we are no longer who we once were. For Michel de Montaigne, this realization began in his early 40s. From the outside, his life looked perfect. He came from a wealthy family, was well educated, and held the respected title of a judge. But within him, storms were quietly brewing. Death had always been near. Even before he was born, 2 of his siblings had already died. Out of his 6 children, only 1 survived. He lost his closest friend to the plague, and the brother who had managed to survive childhood died suddenly during a sporting event. For Montaigne, death was not an abstract idea, it was a presence circling his life. And then it came for him directly. One day, while on horseback, another rider collided with him at full speed, almost killing him. When he recovered, something inside him shifted forever. Life no longer felt like a stage play. The silence behind the curtain, that invisible stillness, began to feel more real than the performance itself. And Montaigne understood, nothing lasts. With that awareness came a decision to step back, not to escape, but to return to something more authentic. All the losses, the brushes with death, and the awareness of life's fragility changed how he saw everything. He realized how short, how absurd life could be, and that realization helped him see what truly mattered. Perhaps that was the beginning of a new kind of life for him. His physical wounds healed in weeks, but the true recovery was happening within. He began to ask himself, is this really my life? Or am I merely acting out a script that others have written for me? And so he made his choice. He would step away from duties, from expectations, from the noise of the world. In 1570, he resigned from public life and withdrew to his family estate, to the famous tower that would become his sanctuary. This was not an escape, but a search, a return to stillness. There, surrounded by 1,500 books and his own thoughts, Montaigne began again. Each morning he rose in his tower, started his day with reading, and then began to write. He wrote not to teach, not to impress, but to understand. He explored what it meant to be human. He asked, what am I? What do I believe? What do I feel? And sometimes he wrote simply to admit that he did not know. His honesty gave birth to the essays, hundreds of small reflections. Some spoke of death, others of friendship, loneliness, or the sadness of being misunderstood, but all shared one essence: sincerity. Montaigne never hid who he was. He didn't disguise his weaknesses or deny his flaws, because to him, being human meant being imperfect, and our imperfections are not shameful, but worthy of understanding. So where did caring less fit into all of this? In truth, it was present in every word he wrote. Montaigne had realized something essential. Life is shaped by what we care about, and most of the time, we care deeply about things that don't matter at all. What others think, what society expects, what success or failure is supposed to mean. These are all games invented by others, and trying to win them slowly consumes the soul. To Montaigne, indifference wasn't coldness, it was wisdom. It wasn't about not caring. It was about caring selectively. It meant choosing what deserves your attention, who deserves your energy, and what you can peacefully let go of. He once wrote, "What we say about ourselves matters more than what others say about us." He knew that when we live according to other people's opinions, we stop living our own lives. What will they think? How will they judge me? Am I successful enough? These questions blur our sense of self. For Montaigne, to care less meant to care better, to know yourself, to hear your inner voice, to discover what truly matters. And ironically, when you stop chasing approval, what truly deserves your care becomes visible. Peace follows, joy follows, because now your life belongs to you again. Montaigne showed this not just through words, but through action. He chose solitude. He embraced simplicity. He wrote, he reflected, and he lived in quiet harmony because he had learned the rare art of letting go. A lesson for the modern world. Today, our world is louder, faster, and more crowded than ever. Social media notifications, endless news streams, and a culture of comparison constantly demand our attention. And yet, Montaigne's centuries-old wisdom feels more urgent than ever. We must first learn who we are, because if we don't, we cannot know what's truly worth caring about. So we look around and ask, what should I wear? How should I look? Why isn't my life like theirs? These questions are born from caring too much about what others think. But Montaigne's philosophy whispers, turn inward, listen to the silence. Freedom often begins when you stop caring. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It's a form of inner cleansing. When you step away from what doesn't truly matter, you make room for what does. In our age, the art of caring less has become a quiet form of resistance, a conscious silence in the middle of digital noise, not reacting to every headline, every comment, every criticism. Just like Montaigne's tower, you too can build a refuge not from stone, but in your own mind. Your tower is a mental sanctuary, a space where you decide what has value and what does not. How do you begin? By accepting this truth. You can't control everything. You can't please everyone. And not everyone will like you, and that's okay. As Montaigne said, caring too much about how others see us prevents us from truly seeing ourselves. So give your energy only to what nourishes your growth. Ask yourself, does this idea, this person, this story serve my well-being, or does it simply drain my mind? That's where awareness begins, in the space between what feeds you and what distracts you. Developing selective attention, a mindful kind of indifference, is a quiet wisdom of its own, and it's something you practice daily. You don't need a tower, just a moment. Put your phone away. Spend time with a book, a notebook, a walk in silence. Write your thoughts. Observe your mind. Soon you'll notice, as the noise fades, peace begins to grow. If these reflections helped you pause and breathe, then you're not alone on this journey. Keep walking your path, because in the end, everything truly is in your hands.